Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today what we're going to talk about is how to make 8-ball shifter knobs and suicide knobs. And this method I've learned from the world famous Lyle Willits from the Maryland Automotive Modelers Club. He showed me this years ago, and it's so simple and such a great idea. And so I give him the credit. I learned it from him. Now, I can't see like I used to, so mine aren't as probably as good as they used to, but we're gonna fumble through that. And also, I like when I build a model, I like adding what I call fluff. My Iceman tractor that I just built, that comes as a complete kit. And really to that, I just added little things here and there. And then I went back just this week and um, I added two things. I added the triangle reflector tag on the bottom, and I also added a 8-ball suicide knob. And that's got a little 8 on there. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And I also put, if you notice that, I also have a little, I took some chrome pen and added a clamp, a homemade clamp on there, or a semi clamp on there. So those are the things we're going to look at today. So let's hold on, let me back out of here. So the triangles, all I did, this is just a piece of sheet styrene. And what I did is I painted it red, and I just used what I had. I had some Tamiya bright red, and then I had some Tamiya metallic red, the TS95 pure metallic red, and that gives me that the flake in there kind of gives you that reflective look. But the yellow, I actually, when I did my garage, my old garage floor, I used this. This is real reflective tape that peels and sticks. And so for my my yellow triangle is actually real reflective material. And this is my prototype. It probably is not right. And I eyeballed these. I didn't get crazy on these, but I put them on both my tractors because, you can't drive a tractor without being legal. And this one, the suicide knob. So this is what, you can buy those. So I get these at Walmart, and these, I get the big ones and I get the little ones. And for a couple bucks, you get, I don't know how many are in here, a lot. They also have these in colors, and I do have those. I can't find them right now, but I do have some in different colors. In fact, the one on my one tractor here, I keep dropping stuff. That little one on my one tractor, that yellow one, it came that way. So, I like suicide knobs. You don't see them much anymore, but you see them a lot on tractors. And I promise you, this is the last video I'm going to do on tractors. My tractor career is over. So we're going to look at so what I did to start with on the 8-balls. Now I pre-painted some of these just so you could see what I'm doing on those. So I just put them on here. And then I went and sprayed them with Tamiya Gloss Black first. Okay, and I already did some stuff on these. So you start with a white one, and you end up with all these solid black ones. Okay, and I did two sizes because I was doing some suicide knobs. Now, I wouldn't just do two. I did a whole bunch because hopefully it's almost like vacuum forming. Hopefully out of all this, I got one or two that are good. So for this to save time, I pre-did some of them. But so this is what they look like to start. So you're going to paint them black. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to paint. I used Tamiya flat white. And then what I did is I just took some sheet tubing. Hold on here. So I just took some sheet tubing, and I can give you the dimensions of this one So this one is 0.1255 inches. And then I just take that and, you know, I usually have a stick for mixing. I buy these cheap, you know, coffee sticks. And you get them just about anywhere. I don't know what you guys use, but that's what I use for mixing. And then I usually break them in half. Oops, bumping. You know, I like to bump the camera. And then what I do is, you know, I would just, let me get the right end of this one. And you can see how it's kind of dimpled on the edge. And then I just go in here like this. And this is for the big one. And you're just going to touch the end of it. There you go. Got a circle. So I used that one for the larger one. And then the smaller one, I used this piece of plastic. And that is 0.0610 inches. And, you know, you don't have to do exact sizes. I tell you what else worked good is the back of drill bits. Actually, for the little 8s, I use drill bits. I'll show you them. So this one is used on the smaller. So I used this one to create the smaller ones. So that was used on the smaller size. That's going to be my suicide knobs. And then I'd have a third one, which when I started doing the 8s, and I'm going to show you how to do the 8s, but I would use on the larger shifter knobs, I was using 0.0480. And let's get rid of this white. And now I just use this because I had it. This is acrylic, just like the white was. And I have some Model Masters gloss black. And you can use flat, you can use gloss, you can use whatever you want. It's just what I had. And so again, I put my stick in there because I take paint off the stick. And again, I just take my, you know, get a bead on there. And then let's see if I left any of these open. I don't think I did. Yeah, so I would just, oops. That one wet, that one's, okay. So then I would just put 2 little dots on top of each other. There's 1. And there's 2. Okay, and that's where we're at on all these. These have 2 little dots. Some of them look better than the other ones. Hang on here. And like I said, it takes some practice. Like I said, some of them look better than other ones. Whoops. You're basically putting 2 little dots. And then, so you got your 2 little dots, and then you just come back with the white again and put 2 more little dots inside of the 8 to create the 8. So you're back to white. Still got my white stick. Now this is where I did the drill bits because I wanted a smaller, you know, the back of a drill bit, you know, for these tiny ones, you know, you want a smaller dot. So let me get my, so let's look at the big ones first. And I might have picked a too big a one. Let's do a little test here. That's a little big. Let me get a smaller one. Again, there is no set size to do this. I'm just kind of looking at what I got. I have some old drill bits. I mean, if you go smaller, you can always make them bigger. These are my big ones. Let's do this one. Boink, boink. And there you have it. There's a little 8-ball. Wasn't that easy? Let's do one of the little ones. Let's see if I can get one of these little ones done. These little ones are tiny. I don't know if I can do this without. Yeah, that one's out of center. Let's try that again. Like I said, that's the reason you have a bunch of these, so that you can do a bunch of them to make, you know, one good one. Let's try this one. I'm trying to do this without, which I don't know if I can, without using the magnifier. I'm trying to eyeball this on the fly. There you go. See that one? Right there. That's pretty decent. Again, that's tiny. So that's how you make an 8-ball. Do a big circle of white, come back with 2 little dots of black, and come back with 2 smaller dots of white. And you can make 8-balls, 8-ball shifters. They're not perfect, but if you do enough of them, I'm sure you can get a perfect one. Like I said, you probably got to do 10 to get one good one. But or you could, I mean, you could watch. It's acrylic, so you could do your first white in enamel or lacquer, and then come back with acrylic. Then you can wash it off if you want to do that. But I just did a bunch of them. But they're pretty simple, and that's Lyle Willits taught me that. Lyle's got some he's a great scratch builder and good at doing stuff like this. And, you know, he doesn't reinvent the wheel. He just has some really cool ways. I would have never thought to do that, but that's what he did. I keep knocking my magazines over. All right, so that's how we make 8-ball suicide knobs and 8-ball shifters. Now I didn't put 8-ball shifters on my tractor, but I did put one on my steering wheel. All right, like I said, I promised I will not do any more tractors. But what we do, whoops, oh, that was a big one. Hang on, coming back. So that's going to be it for tractors. I do have projects to finish up. I need to finish up my 64 Galaxy. I got a little bit, it's in foil jail. I have a little bit of foiling to do on the other side. And then I just recently got from MCV products, I got the little drag, is that a Fiat? I forget what it is. I think it's a Fiat. I'm not sure what that is. Bantam roaster. I'll have to check. Anyway, this is going to be a future project. I am using resin tires and wheels. The rims are resin, I found. I want to do mine a little different, like I did my tractor. I want to be different than everybody else, because you'll probably see a lot of these popping up. And so I want mine to be different. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this motor or if I'm going to change the motor yet. The back tires are from the AMT white lettered, the parts packs, you know, of tires, slicks and stuff. Or no, I'm sorry, they are not. I correct myself. They're from it was the original Polar Lights funny cars, but AMT has reissued those funny cars, some of them, and they have pre-printed tires in them. So that's going to be what that's about. And I know that's way in the background, but we'll do some as I start working on that. I'm getting ready to go away for the weekend because of the holiday. But when we get back, probably in the next week or two, we'll start seeing this appear. Um, I'm probably going to use the Tropical Glitz again. I really like the way that sprayed. So I want to do some Tropical Glitz on this. I might try to get a little fancy and creative on it. So I really am intrigued by the lowrider guys as far as their paint jobs. And I want to get more into something a little bit more creative and time consuming as far as painting. So that's going to be on my back burner. And that's going to be it for today. Don't forget, Zforce Modelworx. If you type in rate 10 in the discount code, you get 10% off of your order. So don't forget about that. If you're not reading or getting Auto Modeler, make sure you get your issues of that. They have back issues also. These are my reduced ones, and that's a Iceman milk crate. So get that also. Yeah, that's going to be it. We'll see you on the next one. Okay.